Yo, yo, what up, my beautiful dowdies? How's everyone doing today? I'm your host, Fao, and let's talk about DPS Lingsha. I'm gonna be honest, I never saw this coming in Honkai Star Rail, but I think Lingsha is going to be the first quote unquote sustainer that is capable of being a DPS. And for the people that don't know, there's been so many videos, so many showcases on YouTube, on just the internet as a whole on actually how good DPS Lingsha is. So what does this mean for Honkai Star Rail, and what is the strengths, how is this being played, and what is this whole package just looking like? And I wanted to talk about that with you guys in this video, because this is a very interesting thing, and this could be a very negative thing for Honkai Star Rail, but this could also be a very positive thing. So I also wanted to talk about like the influence of this build, and the strategy. Yeah, just the whole effect it's going to take in long-term Honkai Star Rail. So let's get straight into the video. How good is DPS Lingsha in Honkai Star Rail? DPS Lingsha is taking the internet by storm. There's a lot of people that have been showcasing on how strong this composition can be. And I think the key components right now are going to be Lingsha as the DPS, Harmony Trailblazer, Ron Mei, and Pela. And what this does, of course, the first thing that should also pop into your brain is you don't need a sustainer because the sustainer is dealing damage. And this is kind of true, right? This is true. Lingsha, while she's dealing damage and while she's being a DPS, she's taking care of the whole party and she's healing them, right? Even with her follow-up attack, little bunny. Like, there's so many, like, just damage dealing abilities that also heal your party. And with this opens up a lot of doors for completely throwing out the normal way to play Honkai Star Rail. Let's say Lingsha is actually becoming a meta character on being the best DPS or one of the better DPS, right? Let's say you take Firefly. Firefly is the original Fire Break DPS that we have in the game. But Lingsha now does it as well, but it does it completely differently, right? Instead of taking HP, and then of course from Firefly, now gives HP to the whole party, cleanses, and also deals break damage. So it's a completely different way of playing. Lingsha is very skill point hungry, but if she's going to be the DPS, this kind of fixes the whole issue anyway, because DPSs want to use the skill by default. And because the break meta is a possibility, this is why this composition is possible in the game right now. Because of the super break mechanic, the Harmony Trailblazer, DPS Lingsha is actually extremely valuable. Her kit, with all the break synergies that she has, throw in the Run Mei, the Harmony Trailblazer, and you just have to take their shield down, and then after that you do actually like over 200k break damage the whole time, and it is extremely strong. And even her ult, I've seen her ult deal 600k already, and these are just Lingshas that are not necessarily like insanely whale bait, like they don't have like E3, or they don't have necessarily crazy things. Maybe they have her light cone, sure, in some of these showcases, but maybe they have an E1 because for the defense shred, right? But I've seen a lot of good 200, 300k with just E0, S0, and this is a insanely like revolutionary thing for Honkai Star Rail, because there's pros and cons to this. The pros, you have a sustainer that deals damage, so you don't have to worry about sustaining, right? You don't have to put a sustainer in your team because the DPS is already. So this enables characters like Pela for AoE defense shred, or JQ vulnerability shred, and then does more auto damage. So when Lingsha actually does her auto, it is even more damage, right? So there's a lot of play here, and fire as the element is getting a lot of time to shine because of all the things that are being thrown in right now. There's a lot of pros and comfort that brings with this, right? Because break as a whole, I've said this many times now, is an extremely easy composition to build because of the substats. Most of the time, you just need attack percentage, break, and speed. These are normally the things. Now, Lingsha can focus more on attack percentage, of course, because she scales with it, and then she'll do more damage. Normally, you can like really focus on an outgoing healing bonus on the body. You could probably get away with an attack percentage there now and actually go full damage, right? And you'll still like heal the party. And you guys have to understand, because you have like the Run Mei, giving them another break turn that they're broken if you finally do break the shield, and it's going to go very quickly, right? You have so much break damage and break percentage that you constantly break them. Run Mei is there for more alt-tab res spend, more efficiency. The outgoing healing bonus is not really needed because you actually just break them permanently, they have less action value, so they attack you less, and when they attack, you have a cleanse and a full party heal the whole time. So it all balances out. The cons of this is that what is Honkai Star Rail going to be from this position? Are we going to see shielders that can DPS? Are we going to see harmony characters that can DPS? You know, it's a very scary thing. I do think that we have to respect the compositions and their strengths and weaknesses. I do think that if we have a Ranmei in our team, it is not supposed to be that Ranmei is going to deal 200, 300k damage, right? It is not supposed to be that a Bronya will like carry you throughout the game. No, they're the supportive units. Lingsha is the sustainer in Honkai Star Rail, is a sustainer. It is not her job to deal that much damage. Now, we already saw this with Gallagher, right? Gallagher with the super break was already like, whoa, this guy is dealing damage while being a sustainer. And Lingsha's taking this to a whole nother level. And I'm a little bit scared, or I would be scared, for Honkai Star Rail just ignoring all physics in the game, right? How many characters are supports, but they can deal damage now? You know, then it would be too many complicated things, and everything doesn't matter anymore. And then older DPSs that actually are supposed to be valuable DPSs are being outshined. Let's say Jing Yuan, you know, characters like that. Lingsha will just be a better sustainer, but now DPS. So like, why on earth would you then even consider building around Jing Yuan or something like that? Because then the DPS, the path, the hunt, the destruction has no value anymore. That is something that I would be very scared of if this would go the completely wrong way, right? Or if more characters would bring this to the table. So this is, of course, right now it's not a big of a deal. I think right now it's a fun little thing. If you would put your more effort into it to make this work, it could work and it would be a fun, goofy thing. But if Honkai Star Rail is actually going out of its way to actually make more characters that are not supposed to do damage but just do way more damage than they should, then it's going to be a little bit of an issue. And that's the only real issue that I have with this idea, right, of a sustainer dealing so much damage. Now, of course, it doesn't matter at all. It's because Lingsha's kit is built around just break, healing, you know, follow-up attack a little bit in it. So if just Lingsha is doing this, then it's just Lingsha, right? It's just Lingsha things, right? It's just Lingsha moment. And that is okay. Same as it's just like Gallagher moment. He has an enhanced basic attack. It's just his kit. And it's not completely broken, right? Because it's really good for break. If you take Lingsha away from break, then you're not going to have this same effect. It's the break, that's the super break that makes this come alive. So then it's okay in a way, in my opinion. But this does change the view of Honkai Star Rail, and I do think it is just a interesting thing to see, because I would not... Okay, if you're in the position, right, and you say, if a newer player and your friend starts to play Honkai Star Rail, and like, oh, Lingsha's there, and Ranmei gets to rerun, and the Harmony Trailblazer you can just get for free. Would you recommend Lingsha as a DPS? That is the next question, right? Is Lingsha actually going to be that strong of an option as a DPS? Would you recommend your friends or newer players to like, hey, pick up this character for a DPS? And I don't think we're there yet. And I do think that's a positive thing in the game. You know, what we talked about just now, where it would be like a unhealthy thing. I don't think I would recommend anyone to go out of their way to just start making a DPS Lingsha composition as a newer player or whatever, right? And I do think that the possibilities there is a fun thing right now. But I do think you should focus on normal Honkai Star Rail still, right now. And that is a good thing, right? That is what we want to keep. We don't want to be like, oh, Lingsha's that broken. Just get a Ranmei, focus on the Harmony Trailblazer, or whenever a 5-star limited version of the Harmony Trailblazer is going to come out, that's probably going to be a thing, then pick up that thing, and then Lingsha is going to be even more broken, right? I would hope that Star Rail knows that it's not going to be that strong that newer players could actually just make DPS Lingsha, right? I don't think we're there yet, but it is a very, very strong thing. Now, of course, if you have light cone options and you throw in Eidolons, this whole concept becomes stronger and stronger. And just how her kit functions, you know, that is the thing. With the attack percentage scaling on top of that, her whole design is just also damage. So it makes sense for this character. But if we take away her from a break, what we said before, then she's just a very good sustainer that has a lot of break bar potential, right? That is just very efficient as a supportive unit, as a sustainer, to take away the break bar from the enemy. So your damage dealer can actually deal more damage or break damage or sustains really well and cleanses everyone, right? That is going to be something to always look out for, that Lingsha is always going to be strong sustainer, you know? And that's what we've been talking about as well in the past. Now I think Lingsha is going to be extremely flexible, good sustainer. And I think that door is always going to be open, right? That's why the DPS variation is always going to be a little bit of a question mark right now. I do think the moment that she's going to come out and everyone's going to get their hands on her is going to be a very interesting to see what they're going to do with builds, relics, stats, whatever, right? Because then the community get their hands on the possibilities and the team building. And then we're going to probably see a lot of fun stuff. And maybe I'll make a follow-up video on how strong DPS Lingsha is. Maybe I'll make even a showcase, who knows. But I'm going to focus on sustain Lingsha, of course. So I would also love to hear your guys' takes on what you've seen, what your plans are for this. If you actually think that DPS Lingsha is revolutionary, if it's super valuable, if it's going to like break Honkai style, or if it's not going to be that deep. You think it's just going to be a fun little goofy thing, but sustaining is just going to be way better, and it's not going to be that deep, you know? I would love to hear you guys' takes and stories and all your team building and ideas as well on this, because it is a very interesting concept, right? That a sustainer is able to do this. We already saw that with the event, right? Because the event really opened our eyes on what Lingsha could do. In the event, we saw her traces and stuff, and now the day is going to get closer and closer where she's going to be live, and there's just a lot of possibilities with this character. I've been saying this as well, right? She's going to be extremely flexible. I did not expect her to be this flexible that she can be in the DPS slot. But yeah, hey, that shows the flexibility of her kit, right? That shows how actually valuable she can be. I'm very excited to see how this is going to unravel. I hope it's going to unravel in a healthy way. I don't really hope we're going to go to a path, what I said before, where everything is going to just collide with each other and nothing has real value anymore. I hope it's going to be sustainers are going to sustain, DPSs are going to DPS, Harmony is going to support, you know. I do also think that it's going to be like that. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys think. And make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Means the world to me if you could do that. Make sure to join the Discord. We're trying to grow the community even further. And if you want to support the channel even further, then become a member. I love you all, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care. Peace.